Come on now. Man, I hate it when it does that. You know, it just didn't load the way I wanted it to. Hey, everybody, I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and you are on the lifeboat. What's happening? Christy, good to see you. CK, Faces of the Moon. What's up, V? Susie Q, good to see you. Doobie. Scooby Dooby Dooby. Mischief, good to see you. I just saw you a minute ago, didn't I? Balake. Always a pleasure. Okay. Wow, it's even worse. How did I do this? Maybe these things are coated in something? Am I making an error trying to clean my glasses? Hello, Ree Pritchard. Bizzle. Good to see you, Biz. Hey, Ray. No, there's no chance of that happening, but it's a thought. Zelda, good to see you. Dennis N. Whoa. Were you just pulling something?
Yeah.
That scared the heck out of me. Virginia, good to see you. All right, you know what? Yeah, I can't see a thing through these. We're just gonna have to scrap those for the evening. I wiped them down with a tissue that was coated with a lotion, which was not a really great idea.
It may have been capsaicin.
Oh,
Yeah.
funny. It's got jokes. He said it might be capsaicin oil. Hello, Annie. Hello, Miss Dragon. Good to see you. So, if you're new to the lifeboat, then you may not have caught one of these shows in the past. Hello, Joni. Good to see you. If you're new, you may not have seen one of these. If you've been on the boat for any length of time, I guarantee you that you have seen one of these shows. This is kind of the shows where I am forced to talk about the fact that we're losing 300 brothers and sisters a day in this country, that the number one cause of death in America from 18 to 50 is overdose, particularly opiate overdose. The numbers are higher when you throw in people who are dying on other substances, although the vast majority die on synthetics, right? On opioids as opposed to opiates. Oh, nice. Very nice, borderline. So currently in this country, we're losing 300 people a day. It's about 109, 110,000 people a year. Those numbers come in from 2021. We don't have numbers yet from 2022. They're always a year behind. So we do not have those numbers yet. When those numbers come out, they're going to be higher. I promise you, they're going to be higher. We have said this from the very first day that we opened the lifeboat. We've been right every single time. We've been ahead of the numbers. When they were saying, 75, we were saying 180, and we were on. And we've been saying 300. I honestly think we're probably going to see 450, which is awful. But it's about time that those of us who pay any attention at all in this country stand up and take notice, because that's the only way that this is going to stop. This is going to require an awful lot of people to get really pissed off, and it's going to require that these people get in contact with political appointees, people in their areas. It's going to require sending emails, sending letters, making phone calls, and generally becoming a pain in the can to your elected officials, because that's the only way anything gets done. And we don't have a opioid problem per se, truthfully, right? We have a border problem. Well, I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. I'll lose a few of each side, which is always good. But truth of the matter is, I don't care. This is the only issue I care about. Makes the whole political thing a whole lot easier. This is my issue, right? So, and no one's taking care of it. So it's not like anybody's doing a particularly good job. But something has to be done, and something has to be done quickly. Here at the Lifeboat, we encourage people to get involved and do something that you actually can do that is proactive and will make a difference. And that is to become a pain in the butt to people in your sphere of influence who are of an age that does drugs. If you happen to have the misfortune of being related to me in any way and being in that age group that could do drugs, which would say be from 12 to my age, maybe a little older, or anyone that I can get to sit down and listen to me. I talk to them about the fentanyl that's on the street today. I talk to them about nitazines. I talk to them about the fact that there are so many different pills that are being pressed with garbage in it, that if you're not buying stuff that you pick up at a pharmacy, you have no idea what you're getting. That we live in a world, the world that we grew up in, the world that all of us associate with drugs and with drug addiction and with the behavior that we did, that world's gone, right? It doesn't exist at any level. Most of us experimented with drugs and went through a period of time where in the course of 5 or 6 days, you might do 5 or 6 different drugs, right? There was that period of life where everybody was just sort of experimenting and doing things. That doesn't exist anymore. Those days are over. The stuff that's on the street right now, if you're experimenting with 4 or 5 drugs in a week, it's probably your last week, right? People mix a couple of chemicals these days and they're in a lot of trouble. 2 milligrams of fentanyl will kill you. And very often, these garbage pills. Ray says, every time I walk to the store, I can smell them people smoking garbage pills. It really is what they are. They're garbage pills. These are cranked out in pill presses on both sides of the border, on the American side and on the Mexican side of the border. Sadly, you can go on Amazon today and buy a pill press. You can also buy the dyes for that pill press so that you can make a Percocet 30. And that just makes a hell of a lot of sense, doesn't it? I mean, how hard should it be for our slick fellas there at the Federal Bureau of Investigation to maybe track backwards, right, from the people buying these things? What do you think? Maybe try to figure out where these people are putting these pill presses and maybe bust some of these people, because right now our streets are so flooded that there are many metropolitan areas in the United States where you can pick these things up for $1 a pill. You wrap your dome around that? More than 2 milligrams of fentanyl in 6 out of 10 of them at $1 a pill. Doesn't take much to kill yourself, right? It's about the cheapest way to take yourself off of planet Earth that I can see right now. And way over 300 people a day. By their numbers, 300 a day we're losing. I promise you it's so much higher than that. I promise you it's so much higher than that. And that's a terrifying thing. But right now, I will be the first to say, and I've said it here on the lifeboat since probably the first day that we fired this thing up. We can't win the war on drugs. The war on drugs is over and we lost. That's it. It's long gone. The war on drugs is long ass gone. There's no way to get it back at this point. However, why are dealers offing their customers? Well, really, isn't that the great question, Zelda? Why are dealers offing their customers? Because they're taking their orders from people above them. The vast majority of people who are slinging these pills in the U.S. Are part of a large organization of people who start on the south side of the border and push this garbage. I've said it a million times. You do not ever, right? You do not ever jack up the potency on anything when your customer base begins to die. It's bad business, right? Just a bad business model. If you get 1 or 2 people that die, great. Truthfully, from a drug dealer standpoint, that's fantastic because everybody now wants that dope. Then it's probably a pretty good idea to stop killing them, right? More money comes in, but this isn't about money. Sadly, this is very much about killing people in this country and about killing people of a specific age and absolutely destroying as much of our way of life through drugs. The world that I was talking about that we experimented and we did drugs in, that world is gone. And the world that we're in now is Russian roulette. It is absolutely Russian roulette. And the horror stories now have gotten to the point. You look great in green, Biz. It'd be a great outfit for, say, a Tuesday or a Wednesday night. Biz. Yeah. So we are to the point now. I don't think that the war on drugs can be turned around. Sadly, I don't. We've created such a black market. I think that Probably the only hope is tapping out. The only hope is to say we can't beat this, and to try to figure out a way to roll out some kind of a decriminalization or a legalization program. One that hopefully doesn't have the federal government's thumbprint all over it, because every time the federal government gets involved in anything, it stops running well. Sadly, that's just the case, right? No matter who's in office, by the way, hate me. Doesn't matter who's in office. If we let the government start taking over things, we're in trouble. But I don't know that that's even I don't know that that would fix anything. I just think that to stop the bleeding, when you're losing, and we're going to get to 500 a day. We're going to get there quick. I promise you. The dope keeps getting stronger. The stuff that keeps hitting the street keeps getting stronger. And the message really isn't getting out. And people say, how can the message not get out? Well, how would it get out? Might be a better question. How does the message get out to our kids? Right? Schools, you heard my daughter, right? If you've been on the boat for any length of time, you heard when I brought my daughter on and interviewed her, right? I didn't let you guys see her face because I don't need my daughter harassed for being my daughter. But she came on and did an interview with me, and I said, can you tell me what, how they talked to you about fentanyl, or who was it? Was it a cop? She said, the first person that ever mentioned the word fentanyl to me in my life was you. My daughter graduated high school 2 years ago. So that's where we're at, right? There's not anybody talking to anybody about this stuff. There isn't. So social media, there are campaigns out there for our kids to make sure that they know that this poison is out there. And you know where those campaigns are? Huh? TikTok. Seriously. The geniuses that we are in this country, we're dropping mad cash trying to influence our kids to not get involved in the drug trade through a platform that I assure you is going to bury whatever you try to do in that regard in any way. They will also determine which side people choose in a war, because we've let this stuff right in our back door, right? We've allowed them complete access to our children. If you've not seen the videos that I've done on TikTok, please go back and look at them. But make no mistake, people, these are my rant shows. And I'll lose some people. I don't care. I really don't. There's no arguing at this point. It's just, like Zelda said, why are they killing off their customers? It's not like it's been happening for a month. It's been happening for a really, really long time. I think I read that Amsterdam had a crackdown on legalization again. Zelda's correct. After all of the years of Amsterdam being the sort of gold standard for the ability to legally smoke weed, they are pumping the brakes, and they are wanting to go back to a model where it is completely illegal, which is, if you think about it, remarkable, right? The big problem, I think that they're really going to take a hit, is going to be tourism. We were looking at this, and it was 30 billion. I can't remember the number. It was big, really, really big number of tourism for cannabis. People that fly around the world to smoke weed. And you take Amsterdam off the map for that, and now you've got, the United States. There's a lot of this country that you can smoke weed in legally now. And is fentanyl coming from South America, as argued by the GOP? Here's the deal. Fentanyl may come up through South America. Fentanyl may get to Mexico from a lot of different the forms and methods of transportation. The dope is coming from 2 places, 3 now, I guess. They're saying India is now supplying a lot of, making a lot of fentanyl that's ending up on our streets. But primarily it's coming from China and North Korea. Those are the 2 biggest bad actors, China being the key. And we got China to agree to stop sending fentanyl to this region of the planet. We were not smart enough at the same time to get them to agree to stop sending all the chemicals necessary to make fentanyl. And then if we're going to do that, we may as well also say, By the way, maybe nothing that would be an analog or nothing that, how about if you make anything that gets anybody high, we're going to get really angry, right? If you send anything over, analog, precursor, whatever you want to call it, that can kill somebody, then we're going to be upset about it. Because currently, sadly, currently we're doing nothing. If you want to do a little research, you can look up the number of hours that the current president has sat down with Xi Jinping and how many times the word fentanyl has come up. It's not important enough, apparently, to discuss. And again, I don't care who you vote for, but we got to do something about this fentanyl crap. And it would be cool if the people in power maybe go down and check out the southern border, get a look at what it looks like. I mean, not a drive-by, but actually go down there and check it out. I don't live too far from there. I took Alan Ballantyne when he was here. We made a little Mexico trip, and it's no matter where you go, it's really worth taking a look at. I am sorry, Sandy. Sandy says, my 5 kids used to be 6. Heroin. Have lost so many friends to fentanyl in the last few years. You know what? Me too.
So sorry.
Yeah. Johnny says he's sorry as well. It's heartbreaking. I lost a really good friend about 2 weeks back on this poison. And it's not getting any easier. I'm sorry, snot face. That sucks. But I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad that you're talking about it. Yes, Christy. You don't sound dumb, Christy. It's when you say things like this out loud, it makes the people in power and the people that it makes everybody else sound dumb. Because what you're saying is pretty obvious. China and North Korea are not huge fans of us, right? They're not huge fans of us. We love you too, Snotface. True story. And you know what? A lot of people, the reason that I put that up there, Snotface, is so that you could see things like are being said by Valerie right now that, I'm sorry and I commiserate. There are a lot of people that understand exactly what you're going through. There are a lot of people who are here. There are a lot of people whose onion is exactly what you're talking about, right? When you start peeling that onion, that's what is underneath it, right? The alcohol or the drugs or the eating or the not eating or the harming yourself are all symptoms of something in the onion. And very often that's the onion. Very often it's relationships with family members that are not what they should be. And yeah. Yeah, you know what, Snotty? Seven Sun says have some boundaries in place for the next one, like ahead of time. You know what? Or set that boundary as in the, you know what? Maybe you just don't come by. I'm sorry. If it's me, honestly, you got to get to a point. If you really want the whole sobriety thing to take, then you have to be able to have a line of communication where you say something along the lines of, you know what? You make me want to drink. I mean, just keeping it real. You make me want to drink. I don't know that I need you in my house currently. I mean, maybe when I get better at this, maybe when I get this under control, at that point, maybe I can have you by and, we can hang out. In the interim, maybe talking on the phone. And if I start getting that itch, if I start getting that feeling while I'm on the phone talking to anyone, I'm going to say, you know what? You make me want to drink or you make me want to get high. I'm sorry, but honestly, this is not good for my sobriety. The line that I say more often than any is, you know what? You're threatening my serenity. And anything that threatens my serenity threatens my sobriety. I'm not sticking around for this. I'm sorry. You know what? Doesn't mean I hate you. Doesn't mean I'm never going to talk to you again. It means maybe we do this at a later date. It means maybe I go out and I go for a walk, right? But there are times you just have to bow out. And that may be the boundary. You follow me? I mean, the boundary may be, I just can't do it, period. DJ Daddio, so good to see you, my man. That's 2 in a row. DJ works like you would not believe. He's a very hardworking dude. It always comes back to the same thing. And it always comes back to, if you want more than anything in the world to remain sober, then everything else is second. And that's really hard if you have people in your life that you love, right? It would be a difficult thing to have a conversation with some of the loved ones in my life to say to them, you're the most important thing in my life right after sobriety.
Wow, LJ.
Oh, wow.
That's brutal.
LJ, man, am I sorry to hear this. I am so sorry to hear this. LJ Clifton Roswell says, Tommy, I have no one to talk to, but I want to tell you about my loss. I just found out that my ex-love of over 10 years passed away October 10th, and no one told me. So sad. I love that man so much. I am so sorry to hear that.
54 people are listening.
Yeah, 55 people, including me and my handsome brother, are listening, and we're glad that you're here, and we're glad that you're talking about it. We're glad that you're not holding it inside, because that doesn't do anyone any good. You know, it really doesn't. It does no one any good. You know what? I think this is something that's important. And I got to do it to you. I'm sorry. But this is important, LJ. He didn't choose meth over you, right? He didn't. And this is a really important thing. I hope everybody hears this, right? Because boy, oh boy, we can live in a really rugged world if we go down this rabbit hole. But I just lost a really, really good friend. And he did not choose his drug over his daughter or over his family or over anybody. It's not how it works. What happens is the disease makes the choice, right? We chose to do that first one. And from that point on, the disease makes the choices. And if you could watch a video of the first 46 years of my life, or certainly 20 or 30 of those years, you would not be watching me now. I promise. You would not be able to just go, yeah, I can get over it. But you see a different person, right, sitting in front of you. But I was the person that people would have said he chose heroin over me. And I assure you, I never intended, right? There was never a choice. I didn't have the capacity to make the choice, right? The choice was made before me. Before I opened my eyes every single morning, that choice had already been made. Sadly, that's the way that it works for a lot of addicts. Until you can break that cycle and get out of the madness long enough, and it might take 5 times, it might take 20 times. Do you know, I can honestly say that I think the question that I get asked most from people that reach out to me is, how many times do you let somebody keep coming back? I get that question, like I should for some reason have the answer to that. But that's the question I get. My answer, I don't know that people like. I say you just keep letting them do it until they don't do it anymore. And the reason I say that is because if I give any other answer, then I'm a hypocrite, because I didn't get 10 chances or 20 or 30 or 40.
And tough love is a death sentence.
And tough love is a death sentence. It really is. I'm sorry. In this day and age, if you say, I really, I got to lay the line down in my house, and I've got to kick, this person out, they're going to go out and they're going to do dope, and they're going to do it somewhere where there's nobody around. And these are the sad cases of where these kids are found, in alleys and sleeping in fields. And we're talking about some heavy, heavy respiratory depressants. Wow, what a great question.
Wow.
Isn't that a great question?
I know how I think you're going to answer it.
Zelda says, Tommy, did you know this man was inside you during the crazy days? Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Sadly, I had a real handle on what I was and then what I became, and there was honestly so many times in my life where I just thought to myself, yeah, well, I mean, I made the wrong choice the first time. I wasn't continuing to choose heroin over anybody, but boy, when I made the choice to try that stuff, the rest of my life was. It was like the future had been written for me. There was no other way to look at it. It was like once I tried that, there was nothing else. I didn't have I did not have the ability to pump the brakes until somebody put handcuffs on me. I was going to keep doing it. It's like if you've ever seen a cat where you've got catnip, right? And they'll look at the thing and you can pull it away, you can move it around, and they'll just never stop. And that's just the kind of myopic that I was. Valerie, be safe, please. Al Jane, I'm so sorry. Honestly, I'm so
Connections is the key. She's getting some good ones tonight.
Yeah. She says, Tommy, he was on it 18 years. He came home to meet me. He was off 10 years. So proud of him. Till one day, an old friend ran into him. It took him one time. Stayed for a year or more. I never told him I loved him. There is just nothing that makes this easier. There's nothing that anybody can say. And all of the cliches are awful. I'm not going to hit you with, time heals all BS or any of that. We come to grips with things, right? We never get over things like what you're going through right now. This is just horrific. And it doesn't seem to be any sort of light at the end of the tunnel, right? There's no, wow, but here's the happy side of this. This is all just really, really tough. I would say this. I've talked to so many people since I started the lifeboat who have said to me, so-and-so passed without me telling them that I loved them. I get this. Oh my Lord, I can't tell you how much. So if you're listening to me and there's somebody in your life that you care about, tell them you love them. For real. Every chance you get, tell him, tell her, tell them that you love them. Because I can't tell you the number of people that send me emails with regrets on this specific thing. However, I will also say this. There are love languages, right? Like I know people who aren't going to say I love you, right? They're never going to say that. But they will absolutely demonstrate to you that they love you. And it's things that they do. That is their love language. For some people, the love language is language. They can tell you how they feel. That's a beautiful thing. For some, they demonstrate it, right? They do things and they go out of their way to do small things or whatever. My guess, L. Jane, is that he probably knew, right, that you loved him. But I'm glad that coming here and talking about it helps. And I promise you it does. Holy hell, I promise you it does. Coming and having the ability to get things out of you that are in you it's the reason that there's this channel. It really does make a really big difference in your life. So I'm so glad that you're here doing it. For your master's degree in counseling, RGB18, kill it. Get in there and kill it. Do you see this? Damn, what a great comment. Hi, all. I'm walking into an exam here in Australia for my master's degree in counseling. Wish me luck. 15 years ago at 33, I was living in a sober unit, having been unemployed for a decade. And now walking in to test out for the master's.
Huh? It's just heavy as a guy. I just got to rush you in that.
Yeah, no question. Puts one in your throat. Doesn't it?
Yeah.
good stuff. It really is. God bless you. Wow. That's rugged. Good for you, man. Yeah, Rip, what a blessing. To have, I am the same way. I am blessed right now. Both of my kids are sober. My son has been sober. I think what did he tell me the other day? It was 8 months in a week, I think is what it is. 8 months in a week. And my daughter has been sober all but about 7 days of her life. Smoked a little weed and got in deep trouble for it. Not from dad, but boy, she got in trouble. Wow, I love it. Do you see that? RGB, do you see that? Virginia says, RGB, you encourage me to be able to continue to try to help others. How good is that? You know what? Here's for a big turnaround, right? In 15 years. Good for you, man. Good for you. The ripples of one person who gets sober, right? How many times do we say this? The ripples, that effect that goes out in every single direction when one individual on this planet gets sober, it changes the entire world. The world will never be the same because RGB 15 years ago made a change. It's a really cool thing, and it's why I do this twice a day. No lie. It's exactly why I do this twice a day. Because one person that gets sober is worth all of it. And you know what? I got to start communicating better with people too. I need to do that, Johnny. Turns out I'm not a great communicator. Kind of sad.
Some people have a way with words,
and others
not have way.
Not have way. You know who's going to get that?
Yep.
Miss Dragon's going to comment on that. Miss Dragon's good. She's a fan too. Had my only child at 42, and that child has never seen mom drunk. That's so damn cool. That is so damn cool. It really is. That is so damn cool. Sandy, you know what? Sandy, we're all struggling, right? We're all struggling. To some degree, we're all struggling. We're all struggling at all times. Let me communicate better. As I said, I don't communicate as well as I should.
Jeez, all kinds of stuff happening.
Oh my God. For the Brace family. Everybody hear that?
Yeah.
Thanks, Charlie. God bless you, brother. That's tough. That is really tough. Good God. Boy, is that hard. Virginia says, my own brother is 8 days sober today.
Wow.
Yahoo. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. That is amazing.
That's pretty cool.
That really is cool, man. That really is cool. Yeah, let me be really straight with you, Sandy. I struggle. We all struggle, right? The idea is that we want to keep the struggles to a minimum. We want to cut down the amount of time that we're struggling and extend the amount of time that we're having a good time and smiling, right? That's the goal. Stick with that. But I still struggle. Everybody struggles. You know, this is a tough world, and you get hit with curveballs, right? You don't always know from one day to the next. The world can radically change on you while you sleep, right? That is the kind of world that we live in, right? Yeah, this is good stuff. Rip says, the thing I am most thankful for is that my kids know they can come to me or my better half about anything and everything, and we will help them navigate anything and be here for them. People, write that down, right? Honestly, you want to how to raise a drug-free kid in this new ugly world right now. That's it. No, be the parent that your kid can come to and talk to about anything. It is uncomfortable. Sometimes it's horrible. I promise you. I have a boy and a girl. There are conversations that I simply don't want to have with one of them, right? But I promise you, I will have any conversation that is necessary if it in any way, shape, or form protects my kid. I don't care how uncomfortable it makes me, And you know what, in a way, 13 years of her life, 12 and a half years of her life. Not going to happen ever again. Not going to happen ever again, right? It's and as I was saying earlier, we may have lost the war on drugs, but you can win battles, right? You can win the personal battles. Make sure your kids don't become a statistic. Make sure that your grandkids don't become a statistic, or your nieces and nephews, or your aunts and uncles, or your mother and father, the people within your sphere of influence that you know that are out there and in the world doing this, running and gunning. Get in their face. Get in their face. Tell them you love them. Oh, you know what? I'm really glad. I'm really, really glad. That's a beautiful thing to say, L. Jane. It really is. I got to learn to put the stuff up because the people that watch it later are like, what the hell is he talking about? Oh, Demig. This is hard. Super hard. Demig says, I'm having a hard time tonight. My son is drinking again. He gets argumentative, so I have to separate, but it feels so unnatural. All I can do is keep reminding him I'm here when he's ready. Really solid piece of advice is that it is pointless to try to reason with somebody about addiction when they're under the influence. Right now, there are drugs that is more of a factor in. Alcohol is the biggest of them. Right, it does make people argumentative. It lowers thresholds. There's a lot that booze does in the brain that just makes it so that it's an absolute waste of time trying to talk to anybody about anything of any importance having to do with sobriety if they're drunk. So it's one of those situations that you got to try to do if you're going to communicate with them at all. Deeming it's going to have to be when between runs. It's a terrible way to say it, but it's the truth, right? Because most people with drinking problems very often, take the edge off in the morning with a couple too. So it's becomes a timing issue, and I am really sorry to hear that. It's but the fact that honestly, you have the right attitude because it's all that you can do is tell them you care and that you're there for them. Alcohol is a insidious freaking drug. It really is. It's of all of the it is well, and it is literally poison, right? But of all the stuff I deal with, it's the most difficult. It really is the most difficult of all the drugs that I deal with anybody, and it's because of the availability and the fact that they advertise the freaking stuff. Thank God I don't have to watch heroin ads on television. I mean, that would really be difficult for me, even after 8 years. Let's see where we're going here. Are you not glad that is in the rear view mirror V? Miss V says, I remember what that's like. Every weekend my ex would drink heavy and be an ass. On the bright side, he's not getting out. Wow, that's beautiful. Russ says, Tommy, my mom's friend, when I went to prison, actually told her not to give up on me, and it worked. That is a beautiful thing. It's I watched, he did too, I guarantee, but you watch people whose families give up on them, and it's ugly, right? When people have nobody on the outs and they're literally just isolated and living on the inside, the light goes out in them. You got a shout out there from Russ as well. Johnny Scoville. Yeah, it was one of those situations that you honestly, we used to watch the lights go out in the people. I can relate to that. I've been to prison for a legal drug, DUI. I've been beaten within an inch of my life. Today, master's degree, anything is possible.
I love it.
Right? No, it's just
Love
beautiful. I honestly, it's just such a beautiful thing. There is nothing on planet Earth that I love more than a comeback story.
Right?
You know what, Christy Caldwell? This is actually a key comment. Christy says, "It's hard when someone gives up on you." You bet it is. You bet it is. I've told the story I don't know how many times, but I got my divorce papers 7 days after getting stabbed at Victorville, which also worked out to be on my birthday, which was great. The timing was impeccable. But we had a deal. We had a deal. We were gonna stick together, and we were gonna get through it, and all of that, blah blah blah. But it's like getting kicked in the stomach when someone gives up on you, right? And I was watching a show earlier where someone was talking about, this is a reality. This is a reality for a lot of people. What do they say? What is divorce? 50%, right? Throw in relationships that don't get to marriage, and it just seems like, boy, every relationship we get in ends, right? And it's really a difficult thing, and it makes a lot of us sort of drop out of that whole life and just not look. You know what? Everybody, I guess, has to make that decision. It's tough. It really is, Christy, and I feel for you. Communication, like I was saying earlier, I don't communicate well. It's hard when someone gives up on you. It really is. But Kelly Gerling says it's even harder having to give up on someone else. Often it's the only answer to saving ourselves and our family. It's so sad. Yeah, that's hard. God almighty. Yeah. It's well, and you know what? This has been about as productive a day on the lifeboat as I've ever had. We're not getting a lot of we're not getting a lot of joking around. We're getting more serious stuff, which is good though. And here we go. Ray says, is that how they give birthday spankings in prison? They stab you on your birthday? Well, it's funny that you say that, because there are different traditions in different prisons. And like when I was in the state joint, you did not want anyone knowing when your birthday was, because they do spank you. Not exactly the same way, but it is a very unpleasant procedure with a lot of people coming in and throwing punches at you, and it's not particularly fun. They also used to have a procedure called checking out, and that was on your last day in prison. And they got my elbow. Jeffrey Canale, you'll see him in the comments section. Rotten. He got my arm. My fault, apparently. I refused to tap. Yeah. Patricia Ching says, both my parents were alcoholics. At 80, I have been sober for 50 years through AA. I couldn't believe it when someone told me I could live the rest of my life without drinking, one day at a time. Yeah, the first time, the idea and the concept that, my Lord, I really could pull this off is something that I think it's one of those things. I remember meeting someone that when he described his heroin habit, it was larger than mine, right? And I had never met anybody that was doing more dope than I was. And when this guy told me what he was doing, I said, boy, you got to be kidding. And I'm like, how do you keep that up? He's like, well, I don't do it anymore. And I just remember thinking to myself, good God, you stopped? It was, I mean, if he had said to me, I have figured out a way to harness the power of the atom, I would have not been more shocked. You stopped. How the hell did you stop? Like, how's that possible? This is something that occurs. There are people that get out of this. And it was a beautiful thing. One day at a time for 50 years. Patricia, you are my hero. 50. Have we ever had anybody over 50 years? I think that may be the high on the lifeboat ever. We used to keep track of all the years of sobriety, and it got up over millions, and we just we had a good time with it for a while. But 50 years is amazing, Patricia. Congratulations. God bless you. That is fantastic. Honestly, hard to wrap my brain around. LVC. I don't think you could nail that any. You caught that right on the numbers. Yard called the shot. Hit that one out of the park. There it is, people. China supplying cheap ingredients and fentanyl to the cartels. It's modern warfare, destroy from within. It is a proxy kind of attack on our country. It absolutely 100% is. I don't care which party you're into. I don't care what politics you believe in. There's no reason that you continue to make your product stronger when it kills the customer. Bad business. Bad business. Stupid business. Doesn't make any sense. Right? And it's been going on for how many years? Every single year, the numbers are going up. Every single year. And the quality of the product is going up and the price is coming down. Right? The availability is going through the roof. They're flooding the market to the point where it's making the pills almost worthless. Again, bad business, right? The number of pills you put on the street is going to directly affect how much those pills are worth. And they are flooding cities to where these things are selling for $1 a pop. Right? This isn't about business. And if you think it is, I don't know. You went to a different class with the whole micro and macro thing than I did. Green Acres is the place to be. Question: can I post a link to where Carol Klingon interviewed me and my wife today? Absolutely not. You know better. Of course you can. I'd be happy to see you do that, Steve. Post that link. And did everybody hear that? There was an interview today. Someone put the link up there. Yeah, if you know how to do it, put it up there. If not, somebody else give me a hand. No, Miss Schiff, you're definitely not on your own. You hear that? If you're listening to the sound of my voice and you think that you are alone, then you're missing what we're doing here. Pop up in the comment section. Type out the words, I feel alone.
See what happens.
Right? See what happens. Just type it out. I feel alone. Good stuff. Right? Hey, Lord Kiss Freak.
Shut up. Nice.
Good to see you, eh? He's Canadian, you know. Surprised you didn't know that. Yes, Christy was there too. I did a little lurking a couple of days in a row actually over there. It's a very cool show. I don't always put my name in when I watch shows because then everyone will say hello, and I don't want to. Sometimes I feel like I divert the chat, and I don't want to do that, especially when it's going good, you know. So sometimes I stop by and see lives a lot, but I usually lurk, and it's even worse if my way older brother does it. If he pops into a comment section and says hello, it usually gets crazy. I am a lurker. I am absolutely a lurker. It just it helps. Well, yeah, we love you too, bud. True story. Lord Kiss Freak is another one that's been on the lifeboat since the 31st of July, 21. Right? The very first night we fired it up. I think he's been here ever since.
Prayers for Jackson's grandma.
You are not alone. You hear me? You are not alone. You are on the lifeboat. There is no one here. Though what makes everybody here a brother and sister, right? The price of admission is the fact that we all know what it feels like to not be able to say no to the second one, right? I mean, we all have the ability to say no to the first one. Then we screw that one up, right? And then we have no ability to stop. Everybody here understands that. And you are not alone by any stretch.
Reed Pritchard says that my isolation feels like it's the killer. It's because it is.
Isolation is a killer. Make no mistake. Hey, squirrel nut. No, isolation is a killer. If the opposite of addiction is connection, right? Isolation feeds addiction. Isolation feeds every bad thing that can happen to you psychologically on this planet, right? I watched someone that I care deeply for have an episode the other day because of things that happen in life. And excuse me, it doesn't matter whether or not the things that we struggle with come from drugs or come from trauma or come from anything. The number one killer every single time is when we start feeling like we're getting off the rails in any way, we isolate and we pull back in. And when we do, forget about it. We will take ourselves apart. Seems like I get 2 or 3 phone calls every night during the lifeboat. Well, that's good because there's a lot of people in your life that are reaching out to you, Dennis. That's good stuff. I'm glad. Tammy C says, I'm a lurker a lot of the times. Nothing wrong with lurking. Nothing wrong with lurking. Right? Jackson, I love you, brother. Good to see you. Flamin' Jackson in the house. Or in the boat, I guess I should say. But good to see you, Jackson. I love Jackson. I promise you, isolation is all bad, Ree. Don't do it. You hear me? 34? Ree, no isolating. No isolating. Oh, 54, 34 years sober. 54 years old. 34 years sober.
Wow, that's amazing.
That is hot right there. That really is. Good stuff. If you are not a member of the Facebook, or what do they call it now? Not Facebook. Meta. There you go. Meta. I'm not calling it Meta. If you're not a member of the Facebook group page for the lifeboat, go over and become one so that you can exchange numbers with people and it just makes it a lot easier to direct message people on the boat. Take communication from here to the next level, right? It's cool to show up here a couple of times a day and get to know people, and you pop in and you feel like, you know what, take it to the next level. Exchange phone numbers, right? Send emails back and forth. Get to know one another. Build a group of people in your life who are all pulling in the same direction. It's amazing when you get people around you who all are trying to stay sober. Good things happen. It's just a fact, right? Really good things happen, but it requires... I'm sorry, hold on. Jane Clifton, that is a very, very kind thing to say, and I really appreciate it. That is what a nice thing to say. Sammy C says, I'm guilty of isolating myself because I feel like my situation is different from a lot of people that are not a parent of a child addicted to drugs and alcohol. You know what I have found the internet has been amazing for? There's just not that much that is unique, right? No matter what it is that you're going through, there are a bunch of people going through the exact same thing. The internet levels the playing field for that like nothing else in the whole world. I found when I started selling watches and you think to yourself, I'm the biggest freak in the entire world. I can name, 1,100, 1,200 watch manufacturers and models. And there aren't people like me. And then I realized that I'm a dime a dozen. And not only are there people like me, but there are people who know so much more than me that it makes, right? I promise you that the more you get out of that isolation, no matter what's going on in your life, the more you go out of your way to start interacting with other people who are going through the same thing, the more you're going to level out. You're going to level out. And when you can get to a point where you believe that there is a back there, right? There is that rear view mirror moment where you're like, holy crap, I am not that person. right? That's gone. I'm not that person anymore. I really am not. That's not how I'm going to live. It's not what I'm going to do. This is probably a really important note here. The reason that I need the boat and Carol's channel is the community of people who understand. You can be surrounded by people who don't get it and feel more isolated. And that's key. That really is key. You have to find yourself around people that understand what you're going through. I have found some unbelievable people that have more empathy and sympathy than anyone you would ever want to meet who are normies, people that didn't have drug addictions who are fantastic at being there for individuals and being part of people's lives and just being a huge part of people's sobrieties. If you had told me that would have been possible a year ago, I would have laughed at you. But get to know the people on the boat. This is a really ridiculous group of people. It really is. This is a very, very unique group of people. Get involved. Get involved, right? Let's protect each other. I don't want to put ties on ever again. Let's be a little bit more interactive with each other. Let's take it to the next level. If you're not if you aren't a member over on Facebook, get over there and become a member. Don't tell me you don't like Facebook. Nobody likes Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg doesn't like Facebook, right? You don't have to be on Facebook. You just have to go over to the lifeboat. That's it. It's just like this over there. That's all. Same kind of thing, right? Across the board. I love that. Cosmic Christie says, I Need a Meeting is my go-to channel every morning. Fantastic. There cannot be enough. So, and that's Tammy's channel. And you'll see Steve over there. You'll see Christy over there, apparently. So you should definitely get over there and check it out. I was going to make a comment that was going to make nobody laugh but me and maybe one other person, so I'm not going to say it. But Boltneck, wow, good for you. I finally had the courage to open up to a psychiatrist. First time. Please wish me luck with this. I will do more than that. I will also congratulate the snot out of you, and I will use you as an example right now for everybody else. Did you hear this? I finally had the courage. It's exactly what it is. It is courageous as hell to fight to be the best you can be. And that requires very often for people who have been through the things that we've been through, the people that have trauma in their lives, people who have addiction in their lives, it requires asking for help and it requires professional help. And it takes mad courage. It takes huge, huge courage. It really does. And I'd like to believe that all of us have that courage, right? We're here because we want to live a better life. Now, I'm going to communicate better. I said that to everybody, right? My life of crime is over. I've had some weird things. People ask me some weird questions, and as if I'm somehow still in the life. My life of crime been gone a long time, right? I don't commit crimes. I don't do anything even remotely like that. So I should probably communicate that. So, and not a violent guy. No violence in all that's in my past too. A lot of stupid things have been said about me recently. I will tell you this though. If you mess with people I love, I could probably roust up a little violence. Know what I mean? I think that's everybody though, right? I would think that's everybody. All right, folks, you know what this means? It means we have got to the end of another. Hello, Gypsy Daisy. We are at the end of another lifeboat. How cool is that, huh? No, Boltneck, congratulations. Proud of you. Super proud of you. Good stuff. Everybody can take a page out of that book. L. Jane Clifton, thank you for opening up today. And to everybody else that came here and talked about things that were, that required opening up. Mr. T, it is always an honor every time I see you in here, my brother. Please give my best to you, son. And this is a cat in a basket. Christy, we're glad that you're here, man. We wouldn't be the lifeboat without you. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.